That was a funny conversation we were having before we hit the button. Sometimes backstage conversations are so entertaining. Nah.
You got to get in early before the show starts.
You got to get in early. See, that's the thing, y'all. Y'all got to get in early. I got to get in these conversations. There's some good stuff happening behind the scenes.
Because look, we can come early when we do live, but when we do in person last Tuesday, we do stay late. So we might not start early, but we stay late. So there's definitely some opportunity to get some extra talk time if that's
what I was thinking about in person. Because I don't even directly remember what the conversation was. It's on the tip of my tongue, but I don't remember. But anyway, this is all I know.
The right
it's
time.
A whole bunch of yelling. Okay. So this defines a great time. A whole bunch of yelling, arguing, and then we hug each other at the end before we leave. I'm like, oh, that was a great night. All three elements got to be there.
Right.
It was a bunch of us being real loud, doing a whole bunch of arguing, and then a bunch of hugging at the end before we left. There we go. It's good.
I love it. I love it. Do y'all want to give like a little mini recap, just for me?
Yes. Okay. So,
and the viewership at home.
What I do remember was Nikki was absolutely in denial. She's gonna stand on her block regardless.
Oh, for sure. That's that Leo.
Proved to her and everything that she was saying that she was agreeing with us, but she's like, no, but I don't agree with that. I'm like, so hold on, Nikki. What was the topic again? Because I could tell you how.
So, can you hear me all right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So last week's topic in person was, is there a wrong time to do right?
Yeah. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So I totally understand what you were saying, Q. I understand what you and everybody else was saying. I still don't feel like maybe I was understood, like where I was coming from, or maybe I'm just all the fucking way in denial wrong. I don't know, but I feel like because the way I felt about the thing being deemed right no longer being right, it changed the whole territory for me. So it could no longer be a right thing because it was wrong to begin with. So
no, so that's incorrect.
What was the topic? What was the topic? Like, what was the exact thing that y'all were the main thing?
We start giving different scenarios about what would be the right thing. So I start breaking this down one by one.
The one main scenario was perfect.
Which scenario?
The marriage scenario.
Oh, break this down. Tell me.
Okay, you got to tell me so I can. I don't remember what the scenario
Q
was.
posed the question. Is there a wrong time to do the right thing?
Right.
Most answer was yes.
Yes.
The answer was no, right? Because the right thing is never going to be the wrong time. So the incident, the example that Q gave was, okay, so two people are getting married. And the person who's marrying them says, the forever, if anybody out here has something to say something, forever hold your peace. Would that be the right time to tell that one of those people get married have been cheating or unfaithful or whatever?
Or just because it's the right thing to do, if you do it in the wrong timing, is it still like so the question was, if it's the right thing to do. So this is how we break it down step by step. If somebody's significant partner that they're looking to spend their life with, they're out there, they up to no good, they out here wilding in these streets. The question first was, is it right to tell them, if you have a relationship with them, is it right to tell them what's going on? And the answer is, yeah, it's right. That's what a lot of people say.
Is it right? Yeah. Should you do it? Probably not.
Okay. So, but this is the thing, though. So the question is, if it's a right thing to do, then it'll be right in all circumstances. But according to Nikki, it'll be right in all circumstances. If it's the right thing to do, then there's not a wrong time to do it. No matter when you do it, then it's still right.
So that is that's where I differentiate, because at that moment, that thing is no longer the right thing. It isn't even about a right or a wrong time. It's not even the right thing to do for. And
no,
what
it is.
I said, you could have told that person any other time before the moment they're getting married. At the time they're getting married, now that's not the right thing. That's hoe shit. You waited until that moment to do it, so that's not the right thing. That's the wrong motherfucking thing at the wrong motherfucking time. What you should have done, if you was going to do the right thing, was say it way before we about to switch our vows up. That would have been the right time to tell me some wrong shit. You know what I'm saying?
Again, Nikki is proving my point that a thing can be perceived right, but depending on the timing of when you do it, can determine.
It's the wrong time.
Exactly. That's what we was trying to tell you.
No longer is telling the right thing. No longer is telling the right thing. So it's not about the timing.
No, the thing itself is the thing. It's the timing itself is what determines if it's right or wrong. No, if it's the
telling the information, being told the information, right thing.
So
being told the information at the wrong time.
She's agreeing with us, but she don't know she's agreeing with us.
Yeah, you're agreeing. Because you're saying, because the concept there's right thing, wrong time. It's still the right thing, but it's the wrong time.
Right.
And you're saying it's the wrong thing now because it's the wrong time. But it's the wrong time. And therefore it's the wrong thing.
Thank you, Denise.
It's not the right thing, because the intention in that particular scenario, waiting until we're about to say our vows, is malicious. Done with intention to be malicious and hurtful. If you're not telling me anything for me to make a better fucking decision with my potential marriage, you're waiting until the moment of to put me on the spot, blast me, so you no longer have a right intention. There's nothing right about the action of telling a motherfucker when you wait until the time we about to say our vows. Now
again, you're leaning on the timing of the situation.
The day before, the week before, the month before, any other time before.
We're talking about timing. Right thing, wrong time. If you would have did it under a different circumstance or at a more opportune time, it would have been the right thing to do. Since it wasn't,
it's not the right thing. It's not the right thing. It's not the right thing anymore.
Freethinkers, get in that comment. We're going to do a poll. We're doing a poll on Freethinkers about this. We're going to settle this once and for all.
It's not even hard. So Nikki, hold on, back up.
The right thing.
So Nikki, if you would have did that at the moment that you heard that the person was engaged, you took them to the side, you did it in private, you ain't put them on blast, and if you did, you said the exact same thing, but you did it under a different setting and different timing in a secluded place, would that be the right thing to do?
Yes, that would be the right.
It's the only difference is the timing, Nikki. That's it.
Because the timing is intentional. The timing is intentional.
The origin of the question is doing the right thing in the wrong time. The timing is what makes the difference. So you're agreeing with us, Nikki?
No, because the action of telling is the right thing. The action of telling is right. It is not right.
So Denise, this is what I had to deal with. Denise.
We're making it right. Shit, if eggs go bad, they not no good ass eggs just because they look good. Shit, it ain't no good ass egg. You want to eat that?
Exactly.
So no.
Wrong time. You tried to eat the eggs at the wrong time.
You still agreeing with us, Nikki.
Nothing about the egg good. So this is how the conversation went last week.
That is too funny.
It was a great conversation, though. I think we had like maybe 10 people showed up or so, 10-ish people.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So it's nice. Shout out to Spinners. We're going to be back at Brent's next month, but Spinners hosted us last Tuesday, which of course was not even the last Tuesday. So rescheduled that.
Brent came through. Brent still came through. So shout
Brent
out.
did. Yeah, Brent pulled up. Absolutely. A lot of folks pulled up, just absolutely to show love. But Brent absolutely showed up and he's ready. He's like, I got y'all. Next month, it's gonna be good eats, so we're ready to go. It'll be cooler. Like I'm looking.
Weather gonna be perfect. Yeah.
So definitely put on your calendar for this month. We will be back last Tuesday of the month.
Oh, yeah. That'll probably be like in 2 weeks. That ain't gonna even be too long from now.
Pretty much. I'll be lonely again.
Come on down. Hanging out there in these New York. Ain't nothing out in New York for you in the streets.
I know, nothing here.
It sounds like you need to come back to Texas. That's what it sounds like.
She's like,
maybe 2 years, maybe 2 years. I gotta make my 10 years. I gotta make my 10 year.
Damn, has it 10 years?
It's 8. It's about to be 8 in November.
Wow. Guess so, because it's right before we started. Or was yeah. Damn. COVID made everything just seem like that, like those 3 years didn't exist. So like you just moved. Like,
yeah.
No, I don't feel like you just moved to me. It seemed like you've been gone for a long time to me. Seemed like a long time.
8 years. It didn't feel like 8 years to me. That's wild.
Going on 8.
That was our last week wrap up. It was a good conversation. And then, of course, at 9:30, Q calls the meeting. And then, like, Smack and somebody else got all super duper excited. It was after 9:30. They're like, this when the real shit goes down. And we probably ended up staying until maybe 10:30.
On a sneak diss. That's a sneak diss on the cool. Like, oh, yeah, okay, now we're going to get mad because I'm actually controlling the conversation. I don't let you say whatever you want to say and go all around the moon and back again. Anyway, I'm all right with it though. I ain't tripping. I'm used to people throwing sneak disses at me. I ain't tripping.
I didn't even hear it. I didn't even hear it like that. So I'm glad.
Oh yeah, okay. Now we can really get into it. I'm like, all right, whatever.
Well, and it is not as if we, move locations from 9:29 to 9:31. Like we're in the same table. Like the conversation continued on the exact same way. But it was
people, people feel like they're being. People don't like feeling like they're being controlled. So,
well, thank you for those of y'all that came out last week in person and supported.
It was a fun time.
Yeah, it was a good time. Make sure you put that on your to-do list in the next 2 weeks because the last Tuesday is coming up in 2 weeks. So we will be back. Of course, have more details. But anyways, out of last week's into this week.
What's real? AI, deepfakes, CLOUT. Okay, so y'all, let me tell y'all how I came up with this title. I don't remember exactly what I was thinking about, like what happened that triggered me to remember this. But there are times when I'm on the internet and I stop and ask myself, is this real?
Mm-hmm.
Like, is their body real? Is this a real video of a person saying this? Like, like there's so many times where I'm asking myself, is something real?
Mm-hmm.
And that's how we came to this. And I want to know the consequences of having to constantly ask yourself if what you're seeing with your actual eyes is real or fake. And that's how I came to this scenario. What were you guys thinking, Q? What made you say, What were the things that made you say, And what were you guys thinking when I brought this topic up?
The question itself, is this real? Especially, okay, because there's a couple things. Especially, you will hear a lot of people talk. Okay. Woo-wee. All right.
First of all, places.
I have a few things. It's easy to get confused, misled, manipulated, tricked when you constantly watch shorts all day because they have the ability to, to mask somebody's voice and it sounds like Morgan Freeman talking. Like, there ain't no damn Morgan Freeman. Y'all stop it. Now, and so that's number one. I'm one of those people. So on my YouTube save playlist, I have 200 some videos that I'm waiting that I still got saved to watch that I haven't watched. Some months ago, some 2 or 3 years ago. But the reason is I still have them saved because I don't do a whole lot of short watching and listening. I need full context. And so when I'm watching interviews, listening to ideas, podcasts, I'm going to watch the full 45 minutes, hour and a half, 2.5 hour. Right. And everything. It's harder to get tricked if you listen to the whole thing. Let me even take this back biblically, church. There's some people who you see them quoting little scriptures all the time. Do you know that the scripture itself, when you quote a scripture, it's a part of a larger letter or a full story.
Yep.
You quoting the scripture, but have you actually listened and studied the whole story? Did you actually listen to the entire letter that Paul was writing to these people? If not, then you're taking, it's easy for you and other people to feed it to you out of context because they just gave you a little snippet. If you practice taking the time to catch full context, then it's a lot harder for you to get tricked. Number one. Number two, and I'll let somebody else jump in. Stop taking so much value and get away from the big I's and the little U's and this person, because this person said it has more validity. I listen to the words of everything on face value. I don't care if you're my favorite person. I'd be like, nope, I disagree with that. Yep, I agree with that. I'm always, and it don't matter who's saying it, I'm listening to the information by itself and analyzing if that makes sense, if it's true, if it's valid or not. A lot of people take more stock in the person that's saying it that they side with versus what's actually being said. If you make a habit, and that's what free thinkers help me. I rock with Nikki and Denise all day. And the moment they say something I disagree with, I'll be like, not exactly. Because it don't matter how much I like you.
Right.
It's how do I connect with the information that's coming out of your mouth? And some people, that's where politics. No matter what Agent Orange does, whatever he say, then people just side with him because they like him versus listening to what's coming out of his mouth. And that goes on both sides. Politicians, musicians. Oh, well, Kanye can do no wrong. Like, yeah, that nigga, I love his music. That nigga can do a whole lot of wrong. I know. I'm jabbing at you, Denise. So,
do wrong. Gotcha.
But I love his music, and conceptually I like a lot of the things that he say. But you have to pay attention. Again, he got in trouble.
Execute on it.
He got in trouble on Drink Champs for some of the stuff that he was saying about the J people. How many people listened to that whole 3-hour and 20-minute interview? I did. If you catch it in context, he was actually making some sense.
He lied.
Right. But it has to be done in context. So anyway, just to go, if you was asking what my was, it was because people don't want to take the time to catch full context. They take too much they accept too much validity in who a person is versus what they say. So that's why somebody can give you these fake voices, and it sounds, depending on the voice that it comes from, then you listen to them a little bit deeper, a little bit better. Or like I've heard different clips, and it looks like Joe Rogan. I'm like, Joe Rogan is not talking right there. This is somebody doing a voice over this, and they have his voice with a microphone next to mine, and it looks like he's talking, but he's not. Those are not the actual words that's coming out of his mouth. And a person will listen to it and think that, oh, Joe Rogan said it is not, and they listening different because of the person and not listening to what they're saying.
Exactly. So
if you pay attention to all that, then you won't fall into everything else as much. Yeah, go ahead.
I want to add to what Q was saying. So one of the first times that I noticed the deep fake video was on a Denzel video. So what they do, I want y'all to pay very, very close attention to this. Sometimes they will start with a clip of the actual
videos, man. Yeah, go ahead.
I know, right? They will start with a clip of the actual person who is really saying the things that they're saying. Then they start to load in the stock clips of some person running down the street or whatever that's not them, and then you hear voiceover. But I know Uncle Denzel well enough to know. I said, Uncle Denzel wouldn't say nothing like this. So I started listening harder. And I was like, oh, this is AI. Even the tone and inflections of how Denzel talks is very, very specific. So you can pick up on his rhythm. It's a very particular type of rhythm and ways that he likes to add emphasis on certain words. And so just be mindful of what you're saying. And if that means you got to question everything, man, that kind of sucks, but you should. You should. I say this all the time on Free Thinkers. My Western civilization teacher told me not to believe to research everything on my own. Not even a book Even a book is not a good enough one reference. Does the book say something? Okay, we need to see how many other books say that. Then you need to ask yourself, who is the author of this book? Do they have any bias? Like, there's so many things that you have to ask
100%.
yourself. And and I've seen a lot of times, and I'm not trying to be on a soapbox right now. I just want everybody to have some awareness. But I've seen there are so many people who have opinions about what is going on, whether it be pop culture, political, whatever, based off videos and videos alone. There's no going to a website. There's no going and viewing the full speech of X, Y, or Z.
Right.
There's nothing. And so then there's all of this back and forth, and people are just arguing about what they saw on the internet. And then we know who controls the internet. So then there's all these questions about why would somebody use Denzel's voice for a deep fake to seemingly talk about something that was positive. But really, it was like, I knew it wasn't Denzel. I knew it wasn't Uncle Denzel because it started off seemingly like they were giving good advice about how men should treat women and da 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 da. And then somehow it went into like, the tone of it took a very TikTok and yeah girl kind of energy. And I was like, why would someone do that? Why would you take a Black man that we trust in our community and have him give not so good advice about relationships?
Well, you know the answer to that. That's easy.
I do.
Nobody's going to listen to him and think that it's him.
Right.
And
Exactly.
Purpose, and it won't work.
Yeah, you get more clicks, more likes. People will be more apt to receive his words versus the words of someone else.
But I got a deeper, darker criminal link. Why would you take a Black man that we love and trust, who's been in a happy, healthy marriage for probably, we're going on 40 years or something like that, potentially, and he's giving out bad relationship advice with all the things that are going on right now with people, men and women being at odds? It's continuing to perpetuate that idea so that men and women can't get on one accord. That is what they're trying to do. That's what I ultimately think. That is my conspiracy theory. They're trying to get men and women to be separate.
Oh yeah, that's the overlying thing. So 3 things. Number 1, for clicks and views, you're gonna get more views with a Denzel voice than you will with your own voice. Number 2, if your words don't carry the same weight. Well, let me back up. A lot of people, it's not just the words, but it's also the face. See, people who don't really stand on what they say, they don't. I learned this a long time ago. Let's go back to Black Tea Talk, which I love so much, and you'd have dissenting views, usually from the far right and Republicans and Trump supporters and people like that. They'd have a whole lot to say in the comment section, and they even do that on Freethinkers sometimes.
Yeah.
And you notice most of those people who have these strong comments and these ridiculous racist views, more than half of the time, their face is not on their own Facebook page.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like why you don't want to attach your own face to your own words? And people will use that that BS. Well, you know, because of my job. I've worked in corporate America for many years. I know how to keep what I do separate from the corporate world. That's why I spell my name a little bit different, so potential employers can't just try to type in my name and see all my information. That ain't your business. But I want my face to be seen. Everything that I say, because I stand on what I say. And I'm not saying stuff just to rile people up and to get people in odds and men against women and women against. No, I stand on what I say. And if you want to question me about it, then we can have a whole conversation about that too. The average person who do all this stuff, you know, this what I call trolling behavior. Y'all hear me say that a lot of times. They don't want their face to be attached to their words. It's a problem when you don't want your face to be attached to your words and your thoughts.
Ooh. Do you think that they think that they're wrong, or do you think that they think that most people will think they're wrong?
I think that they're not. 2 things. They're not confident in what they're saying, and they haven't really done their homework behind their opinion. And number 3, they have an opinion, but they don't have any facts, experiences, circumstances to back up what they're saying. See, I'll say something, I'll put it up there, and you can ask me whatever you want to, and we can have a whole conversation about it because I have facts, experiences, situations to back up whether you believe it or agree with it or not. I can tell you where I'm coming from and why I'm coming from that space. I don't mind explaining myself. A lot of people use talking points that they've heard other people say, and they like it, but they can't really back up what it is that they put out in the air. So that's why it's hard to get people like that to come on live with you and have a conversation, because for them to give a thought, it's easy to give a thought or criticize somebody else's thought, but to actually defend, explain, expound on your own thoughts, a lot of people can't do that. Because it's not really your thought, it's coming from somebody else, you fraud.
But that's so interesting that people would have a strong opinion about something that they don't even feel confident about. Why would you have such a strong opinion about something that you're not even confident about saying?
That thought falls in line with your feelings. Feelings don't have to come with ration or reason. Feelings just is. If you, for whatever reason, if you are, a lazy man who don't know how to communicate with women and no woman likes you, so now you've become bitter with the world, it's easy to align with this person right there and say, oh, well, what's a high value woman, and women don't do this, and women are only good for this. It falls into your category. It gives you an excuse why you can't obtain what you desire. But if somebody actually asks you why, you don't have a reason. It makes you feel better because it negates you from having to do work or looking in the mirror, self-reflection, being better, learning, growing, actually listening to the other side instead of just thinking you right all the time. You got me on one today, Denise. Shoot.
Nikki?
I mean, we don't have a particular question in mind, no?
No.
I don't like nothing about any of this. I don't like AI. I don't like, I don't use none of those things. I don't have a hey Google or a hey Alexa or a hey whoever. Like, I don't have none of those things. Like, I don't like any of this. And I already don't believe anything that I haven't seen, right? Like, so like in the last, I'll say even just the last 6-8 months, my skepticism for anything that I see on the internet is almost at a fucking 100%. I mean, there are Instagram pages and there are conspiracy pages and there are so many different groups that I've been associated with for a very long time that I considered legitimate sources, places where I knew that they did some research. I knew that, before they shared something, I knew that it wasn't just I didn't look anything up type shit. And now it's like, I've had to unfollow so many of them because some of the shit that they share, it's like, come on, this is absolutely not real. And for every person that doesn't believe it, there's probably a couple more that do still believe that shit. We think maybe we're in an era. I mean, the internet was born in our generation, right? So we grew up with the internet. Like, this is our shit. But there are people that are older than us who have no real relationship with the internet other than maybe what their cell phones have provided for them now. Or, maybe they have a job that they're able to work from home. So they've gotten a little bit more technologically savvy with like Zooms and, FaceTimes and shit like that. But those are the people that literally get their news from these sources, that get their validation as a human, a validation of my feelings, the validation of my religious beliefs, the validation of my political beliefs, the validation of my, beliefs of whatever, right? Like, news and news sources are how most people get their information. And there is just so much misinformation. And not only is there misinformation, now it's used nefariously. So anything that maybe could have come from, a beneficial space is absolutely turned into something or can turn into something that is nefarious. So, you know, some of the things I shared with y'all in our chat, just the number of the percentage of women whose, you know, images of their face have gone viral, with pornography made with just their face and other people's bodies, right? Like, if you don't know that this is not who this woman is, or that this is not her body, you would think that there's a video of her out on, you know, social media, you know, having a porn video or something. I mean, you just think of how absolutely dangerous it is, and
I like that part a little bit, because that makes it to where you can't trust nothing.
Yes.
And
And I
so
love
the
that.
part
You know, so I
the
have
part
to
I do like about that is
a lot of people that won't question everything.
I'm hoping that all of these police that use Facebook to try to indict people in closed cases, I think hopefully the dilution of AI makes it to where this stuff won't be as credible. Because I see police charging, trying, building cases on people that ain't got nothing to do with them. Maybe two people got in a fight, and all of a sudden police coming to their house trying to you know, put them in jail. And like, the two people who got in the fight didn't press charges against each other. So why are you coming up all of a sudden trying to press charge? Like, get out of people's business unless somebody. So hopefully with AI, I'm like, well, you know, as what Dave Chappelle said, that could have been digital piss. We don't know.
Yeah.
I don't think that there's I don't think there's anything honestly very good about the entire system, you know, and then looking at how they have to generate this information, like how they create AI, how these things are created are from data. How this data is mined is however the fuck this data is mined, but how it's collected and stored and processed is in these fucking facilities that are in these podunk ass towns, Memphis, Tennessee, and a lot of these podunk towns, Memphis, not podunk, but places in those communities where these are low economic communities. These are poor communities, essentially, and they put these massive fucking data centers in there, and people are getting sick. It is contaminating their water. Their water pressure is down to
a data centers are doing that.
Yes, because it takes so much water to cool these fucking servers. And with so much information being mined 24/7, billions and billions and billions and billions of particles of data, it has to stay cold. And so they cool them, of course, with water. And these data centers, they're taking like billions of gallons a fucking day, right? Like, so these communities that are, you know, that are existing, that have these data centers that have been put into them, they are suffering like massively because of these data centers. So it goes to every infrastructural level, like from the false information to the fucking damaging of communities. These communities, you can't come back from that once your water source is damaged, tapped, and nobody cares. Just like any other environmental concern that they do to poor communities and you know, low income places, they treat those communities like shit. And so all of this for the conveniences that AI may bring us. Fuck that. But, you know, to your point, you said, you know, people should be questioning everything. Most people don't question everything. Most people aren't quick to question everything. Most people don't care to question everything, because really most people do want to be lied to. They would prefer to be shushed to sleep. They would prefer to just live in the reality that is real to me. If I ask questions and you give me answers, I might not like the answers that you give me. So I'm not going to ask any fucking questions. I'm fine with it the way that it is. And I realize that obviously those people exist, right? But I come from the other place where you question every single thing. And so with things, AI stuff, I hate that my kids are in this generation where this is just the norm. I hate that Chat GPT, and I know that people love it for so many reasons, but like I just read something today that said police are going to be like scanning Chat GPT conversations just to see what people are basically saying, to see where they need to like direct some attention, to see if there's any code words that people are using, which I mean, obviously, right, we should probably expect that this is going to happen anyways, but there's absolutely no privacy whatsoever. So there's no privacy. They can create whatever imagery we know that they want to, and people are going to believe it. You know, during the presidential cycle, there were like Joe Biden AI shits, there was Kamala AI shits, there was Trump AI shits. And if you didn't know any better, if you were old, if you were senile, if you know, maybe you were a million reasons, I don't know, why you didn't notice that the person had 6 fingers and not 5. Like maybe you didn't notice things, right? But if you really believe that that was like your person, that was your Trump, that was your Biden, that was your Kamala, you know, that was your person, like people are really just, it's going to be the blind leading the blind. So everyone's not going to question. It will be dangerous. It feels like every episode of Black Mirror is coming true.
Oh, we got to get into that. But you got to be, I have to be honest too. Like, there's a lot of things that I didn't have the frequency, the vision, or the ear vision for until I kind of got into this industry. So I'm able to see things that maybe the average person don't see. You know what killed me a lot of times? People send me stuff to my messenger, and I can tell it's a lot of AI botting propaganda. I'm like, you don't see that this is fake? You sending me fake videos, and you can't tell that it's fake? That's interesting. But a lot of people can't tell. But since I operate in this industry, I can tell the difference right off the bat. I can tell when somebody trolling. I can tell when these videos people are trying to make seem like it's fake and they got real beef, and you got your kid a Big Mac, but you ain't get the rest of my kids a Big Mac. I know when that stuff is fake.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't know it though.
Yeah.
Because and they'd be right there in the comments arguing with each other.
Right, exactly. But if you haven't trained yourself to notice how something like this, it was one guy. The one guy who do all the cleaning. He got the little one word stuff. He got the little cleaner stuff. I can clean your shoes, and I got this cleaner that cleans everything. He did some little skit with this guy who I didn't know. Maybe he was a soap opera guy or something like that. He was like, "Man, I told you to get away from my girl, this and this." And he made it seem like the guy was volatile and ready to fight him. And I'm like, y'all don't see that. Number one, the camera that's viewing this is like 30 feet away. But this supposed guy who's being offended that you messing with him and his wife, you can hear him clearly. I'm like, the guy has a microphone on. This is a staged thing. It's just basic things that y'all not paying attention to. I'm like, you never hear him that clearly from 30 feet away with a camera phone. He got a microphone on. This is staged. Like, it's little things like that let me know right off the bat it's staged. And the average person like, oh, he about to get him. Okay, whatever.
They do, because like even if you see any of these videos and these staged things or whatever, I love to read the comments. So when you go in the comments, you can literally see
they're going in at
where people's minds is, and you're like, come on, yeah. People not gonna do no research, so I don't know. And it almost feels like the AI is so bad. Some of these things, and it's like, come on, this is really, really bad.
Right.
Like
so,
I saw
go ahead, Nikki.
Right after I guess it was right before the anniversary of Katrina, 2 weeks ago. There was some AI imagery, of course, that had gone around that showed, like, you know, in AI world, what it actually would have looked like, right? When the levees were blown up and when the city was flooded out and shit, right? And you could obviously tell it was all AI because it was, right? But, you know, they show these before and afters, and, you know, even though I know that that's not real, and I know that that's not a real depiction per se, right? Like, you get an idea of what it probably, what it probably looked like. So, you know, on one hand, it's like, okay, there's that. But on the other hand, it's like, but what if it really didn't look like any of that? What if that's literally just what you want me? What if it came in and it didn't look nothing like that? It was worse than that, right? So.
Oh, did you watch that documentary?
Yeah, I watched the one that's on Netflix and the one that's on.
Yeah, man, that was rough. That was.
Can't do it.
I almost
that drained me for like a whole day. I was in the mood, tears, because what it did, it reminded me when that stuff was actually happening, I couldn't watch it.
Yeah.
So even though I vaguely was hearing about what was going on, I wouldn't watch or look at it. And it was like a Time magazine or something that start documenting and showing. I was like, and I was like, I can't do it. So in most cases where I kind of knew and heard what was going on, I would just disconnect myself from it. I'm like, that's too heavy for me. And this was the first time where I just sat down and watched it, and I was like, oh God, that was heavy.
So
I
you
was
never
out
watched,
drinking, smoking cigars after that. I was like, ooh, that was heavy.
you didn't watch a couple years back Spike Lee's documentary then? The when the levees broke, you never watched that one?
No.
And I don't usually like to watch stuff like that. For me, Katrina was really significant. Katrina was, and I don't know why. At that time, I had never been to New Orleans in my life. I'd been to
Me and Blue had been there literally about 11 months before that happened. We were doing
I always wanted to go.
concert there.
And
Right.
you know, my ex, my kid's dad, and you know, all my in-laws, they're all from Louisiana. So I have had a love with the state of Louisiana for a very long time. Like if I didn't live in Texas, put me in the swamplands. Like that's what I wanted, right? Like I wanted to be me a little country ass Louisiana girl if we ever had to leave Texas. And so I'd never been to New Orleans. So there wasn't anything that I had a personal relationship at all with New Orleans, but Katrina happened. And that shit changed. That shit changed me like 9/11 changed me forever.
Right.
It really did.
Yes.
And then, you know, as you start to unroll, then it wasn't even about the fucking hurricane, right? Everybody survived the hurricane for the most fucking part. It was what happened as soon as the wind stopped fucking blowing, right? And all of the atrocities that happened to hundreds of thousands of fucking people who couldn't get out, and the city didn't give a shit and just let them be. When Tori and I went to New Orleans for my very first time, I want to say it had to have been like 20. It was before COVID. I mean, it had to be like 2018, maybe 2018-ish. That was my first time going, and I was so excited. Like I didn't know what to expect. I was just excited to go, and so I didn't know like how far we were coming up into the city of New Orleans, like coming down whichever way, 110 or however you get into New Orleans. But I was sleeping. She was driving. I was sleeping. And I woke up and it was daylight. And I just felt so fucking heavy. Oh, I can feel it. I felt so heavy. And I was like, how close are we? And she's like, we're like, you're gonna see the Astrodome like in the next couple of minutes. And I was like, oh my God. So I sit up and I look around. And it's still like coming into the city, and then it's like, boom, now you're here. And it was just like, I swear that all I felt was just spirits. Everywhere. I could not shake the heaviness that New Orleans was. It was like I had to go and somehow pay respects. Somehow, right? So when those documentaries came out, I didn't want to watch them. I knew I was going to.
Let me throw something else in there.
Yeah.
It's not 2016. I went. It was, what was it for 2006? We went for my mother's birthday. So my whole family, all my sisters, the husbands, mom, dad, everybody, kids. We went. We got an Airbnb and we just hung out. We were in New Orleans for like a week. I went down to the 9th Ward. The lower 9th, we went around all the different places. One of the things that, well, number one, we did the World War II museum is there, and I'm a huge history buff. I had the time of my life in there. I could be in there all day just learning. I've lived now. You talk about I've watched every documentary about World War II.
Wow.
But then that museum was crazy. That was awesome. But another thing that we did, we went to a couple plantations. They have plantation tours. Yeah. It was a couple it was one, it's called a Whitney Plantation, and they kind of give you experience. We went to that second. The first one that we went to was an actual plantation that was from the descendants of the plantation owners themselves. They had a whole different take on how and why things happen. It was real interesting.
Wow.
But two things, because they gave you a whole tour of the house, the outhouses, the whole thing. And the old white woman who was like the grandchild of the slave owners who owned that property, she God bless her heart. She knew what she was told, and she wanted to whiten up the reality of what happened. And we, me and my mom and my sisters, we looking like so. But two things that stuck out to me. Number one, after slavery was abolished no longer, people don't understand how what sharecropping was. When these slaves who couldn't afford or own land, or they would be scared out of those properties or whatever, they literally, and not only that, for generations, hundreds of years, they knew nothing but slavery. And what the slave owners did was say, okay, well, no, slavery is not legal anymore, but since you have nowhere to go, we will allow you to continue to work our land, and we will pay you in plantation dollars, not actual money, plantation dollars. And at the end of the plantation is a plantation store
Always spend them on
owned by the plantation owners. So what they're doing is you work, they pay you in plantation dollars, and then you take those plantation dollars and buy your groceries and your clothes and your basic necessities, and you're paying that money right back to it was slavery all over again. I was like, get out of it.
And see,
the other thing, go ahead.
I was going to say, like,
no, go ahead.
That it kind of feeds back into the title, which is just like, what's not real? The fact that we are taught so many things in school, and that, it's not even real. This is the second time I've heard this. The first time I'm watching Sinners. Now the second time what you're telling me about the currency, the plantation currency they made up, which is BS. I'm like, oh, that's what he was trying to show us in Sinners, is that they were with the plantation dollars and things like that. And it's just like,
because he was like, all I got is this money right here, and they were like, all right, we'll take it. And the other brother was like, no, you can't take that wing on. He's like, look, this is all they got. We don't have to take what they got in order for them to, they don't have real money. We got to take that.
Yeah. So it's like, how much information is we're no longer able to access? Like, even the things that they're taking out of school, the indentured servants. And we talk about that on Freethinkers all the time, that they're not saying they're slaves anymore. They're saying they're indentured servants. So all this stuff is history is being erased. There's a lot of fake news, if you will, going on out there.
Let me tell you the other thing that broke my heart about this. These are the two biggest takeaways I took from this. The lady, she had a map of the county surrounding areas. So for all of you new age ninjas like myself, who'll be like, I wouldn't have stayed. No, I would have been running. I wouldn't have stayed there. I would have ran. I looked at the map. Outside of the plantation that you're on, it wasn't like, let me get away from this plantation, and then there's another plantation 10 miles down the road, and if I stay on this path, then I can get. No. You look at the map. The plantation is this area. The moment you step out this plantation, you're directly stepping into another plantation. And the moment you step out of that plantation, they're all connected. So literally, you're going to have to run your way through 14 or 15 different plantations to hopefully find a place where you can find some type of freedom. There was no freaking where for you to go. So for all of people like myself who thinking, oh yeah, I would have ran, it wasn't nowhere to run to. You're gonna run right into the next, literally after you get off of your land, you running into the next plantation owner's land, who's best friends with your plantation owner, and they're gonna end up, if you think you're gonna get through a gauntlet of 10 different plantations and you're gonna make your way through and they're not gonna bring you back, it wasn't nowhere else to go.
Or make you a slave at their plantation. I didn't know that either.
I didn't know. It blew my mind when I was like, oh, where we running? Where we gonna run to? You gonna run 20 miles through 10 different plantations, hoping that crazy. So that's stuff that we don't know, that we just talk bad as free Americans.
Yeah.
You don't know what's real. You don't know what's real.
Yeah, and furthermore too, while we're on this subject, y'all can't be disrespecting the ancestors talking about how you bigger and badder than them. Y'all couldn't have put up with a quarter of the things they had to put up with and survive.
So that was my whole point of saying that, Denise.
Yeah.
When Nikki was talking about she can hear or feel all them spirits, I'm like, that probably just wasn't Katrina. That's a whole history of stuff that rolls back hundreds of years.
And I
You
identify
hearing a whole bunch of spirits that go way past Katrina.
I identify that. I very much identify that, and I was okay with that. Like I was just compelled. Like I just had to go and pay respect. Like and for some reason that place has still just drawn me to it. And so I mean, just thinking about even just talking about what you're talking about, you know, just the rewriting of Black history. There's just so much information out there, and there's so much that has been concealed. There's so much that has been held. There's so much that has been whitewashed, and you know, the same younger me is still the same me who shit just don't make sense, right? It don't add up, right? And as we uncover more and more information today, and people really start to do the deep questioning and the root work, Black ancestry is in question, right? Like where Black people originated from is in question, depending on the conversation and the circle that you get into, right? And so as you start to peel these layers of Africa versus Egypt versus the Grand Canyon versus all of these similarities and these pyramids and these statues and these giants and these fucking land masses and these 200 craters, like all these things that are just like, there's so much information that has been held back.
Let me tell you what's funny.
And then here comes AI, and here comes all these other things to fucking erase whatever progress we may be at right now to start this shit over and try to pull the wool back over people's eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Just real quick, you reminded me of something. I was the most angry I've ever seen my father as an adult. For years, I had been talking about, and contemplating changing my last name. That's the most angry I've ever seen my father. He was irate, upset.
Was he?
And I was, you know, he's proud of that name. That's his legacy. And we are very, if you can't tell, we are very proud people. But that was the most angry, and I really contemplated. And as I started searching, looking, and trying to find what would be something, you know, that's when I started looking at, you know, what area or region am I actually from, and what are some common names in that area. Number one, first, you know, that Africa is a European name. Africa, it's the word Africa was some Africanus. It comes from a European descent. That's messed up. Number one, look into it. Number two, when you start looking at a lot of the surnames of a lot of African tribes and African in areas, a lot of them still, they sound African to us because they don't sound European, but they were still given by European influence. And that's where I kind of fell off, because I'm like, me trying to even adopt the African name still has European influence in it. It's like messed up. That's when I kind of stopped trying to search for it. I'm like, this is still not an original thing for us.
I just listened to something yesterday, and I shared it on my story. I don't think it's still up there, but it was a guy who was just basically talking about uncovering data. I follow a bunch of indigenous Black, indigenous American pages, and so there's just so much tribal information that you can just rabbit hole down if you just sit there and rabbit hole all day. But he was basically talking about how there is something going on with all of the ancestry, the 23andMe, the DNA test results, that oftentimes the responses of African origination are incorrect. And it's almost like, well, we're just going to tell people that this is where they're from, because we want people to believe that they're from fucking Africa, when in fact the indigenous traits come back to a fucking America. And so this one guy was really like, was very he didn't believe his test results, right? So he, I guess, tested his iguana. He put like his lizard saliva.
Oh wow.
23andMe DNA kits, sent that shit off. Motherfucking lizard was like 60% Nigerian or some shit, like some and it was like, God damn,
It's the Nigerian look.
how
You
many?
know, oh, hold on, Nikki.
Yeah,
And I don't know if this is Gummy talking or what, but that lizard could be Nigerian. It's
I mean,
possible.
Bye, Q. Bye.
But no. But hold on. Let me
I know
clean
what
this
you're
up a little bit.
saying. Yeah, you clean it
Let me
up
clean
right for
this
they
up.
clip us up.
Let me clean this up though. Let me clean this up a little bit. When it comes to DNA, the distance from a DNA perspective, the distance between us and a monkey is this much. We have 99% similarities in DNA when it comes between us and a monkey. We have like 98% similarities between DNA when it comes between us and a palm tree.
Yeah,
like DNA is very close to similarity. So when they say, all right, hey, well, this comes from, okay, and if you want to go deeper, the roots of most things come from Africa. If all people come from an African or Central African region, then why would that, from a DNA perspective, why would that not apply to an iguana?
You would make us think about this right now. You would.
Yeah, that's a good. I brought up a good argument.
I'm just saying, it's almost so like my daughter did the DNA ancestry shit, and I understand why people want to do it. I do. Like I know I can trace back, my grandparents and my great grandparents. That's as far as I can go back, right? So like for the aspect of wanting to just fucking know something when you may really not know anything, like I get the desire to want to just look, and then it matches you up with other people. Like I totally get how that's a thing that people want to do. My daughter wanted to do it, and so her and all her siblings did it, and it was cool to see some of those things come back, but it just really makes you think that's just too fucking convenient. That's so convenient.
Well, you know what? Mine actually did line up.
We give you this information for $99, but we have all of your DNA now. You have given us your fucking code. You've given us.
They've been had your DNA a long time ago. They can get your DNA whenever the hell they want to.
They just got a whole bunch more for $99. They just got a whole bunch more for $99.
You go to McDonald's, drink a orange high C, and throw your cup in the trash, and they got your DNA. It ain't.
But they have your DNA, and they have the data that goes along with your DNA. That's a whole. Now we getting into some other stuff because from the aspect of like the hospitals can't just give that information up. But from my understanding, y'all look this up. I could be wrong.
How would you know?
Legally, we don't know, but legally,
what is legally?
Legally, you're not supposed to be able to do those things. However,
legally is something that they tell us, the average person, so that we feel comfortable about what we sign up and sign into.
True, but when you don't have to legally do that, when you can sell your company, when you can sell your company,
applies for the masses of people.
True.
Tell a billionaire about something legally.
They gonna buy their way out of it.
Laugh in your face like, what do legally? What does that mean to me? I make the laws. I control the laws. I manipulate the laws. Legal don't mean nothing to me. Legal is whatever my money decides it to be.
That's true. Okay, so I wanted to say this too to the viewership. Y'all know I grew up in Louisiana, so I have not watched this.
No,
and I was and I lived in Central Louisiana. A lot of people came to where we were.
Yeah.
And so I remember like our church, we had just built this gym, like, and like recreational center, and we like had it full of a bunch of air mattresses. Everybody was like donating like a bunch of like hygiene products, and we had a kitchen in there so that they would cook for them, cook 3 meals a day. Like it was crazy. Like, and I remember like having conversations with people and like just seeing like kids and families, and it was hard. Like looking back on it, it was hard to see. And even just thinking back on some of the conversations I had with people in real time at that time, like what they were going through, being called refugees, not liking that, even just like some of those phrasings and things like that. And then whenever I was in college, because I went to school 3 years after I graduated. So Katrina happened 05. I graduated 05. I didn't go to college till like 09, I think. So, but when I went to college, we ended up doing this play called Katrina's Footprints. Most of my friends in school were from New Orleans.
Yeah.
So yeah, because Baton Rouge is right there. So most people just went to Southern. They didn't want to go too far away from home.
Yeah.
And we also had these high school kids come in when we wrote this script, and we had people share their stories. Those are some of the roughest. And then I would just interview people. If I knew they were from New Orleans, I'd be like, I would ask them, could I ask them about their experience? So I'm saying all that to say, if you want to know a person's experience, you want to know what's really going on, talk to people who were there.
Yeah.
Or willing to talk to you. You know, as much as I like to ask questions, there's a couple. There's about 3 areas where you
don't need to
like
ask them.
a war veteran, like somebody
Yeah.
went to Vietnam or war, and you can just look in their eyes and it's like, okay, I'm not gonna ask you. That's one.
Yeah.
There's certain people, a lot of people I knew from New Orleans dealt with Katrina, and it's like, okay, I'm not gonna ask you nothing else. I see it. I had another lady that I knew who, her name was Alice. She went through she was Rwandan and went through the Rwandan genocide.
Yeah.
Kind of asked a question. After that, I ain't asked nothing else. I could tell, like, it's one of those things where even if it's 20 years later, you can tell that it's always, like, it never goes away. It's always a part of them all the time. It's like, all right, I ain't gonna ask another question.
It was one of the women that they had interviewed on the Netflix documentary. She said, I just didn't know that was going to be the last day I ever rode my bike in my community. I was like, fuck. Day of the hurricane. She's like, I'm riding my bike in my community. She's like, I had no idea that this was going to be the last time I'd ever ride a bike in my community. And from that forward, New Orleans has never been the same. I mean, obviously you've got the spirit of the people, right? But like you said, Denise, you know, Baton Rouge or Central New Orleans was full of people. Central Louisiana was full of folks in New Orleans. They made a huge part of the documentary on just how it changed the landscape of fucking Houston. Houston became New Orleans. You know, I mean, for a long time, I remember having classes, DWI classes during those times, and we would get people who would come to class who got arrested in Travis County for a DWI, and they're like, I'm from New Orleans. And I was like, that's a very cultural different, drinking experience there. Welcome to fucking Austin. We're a little bit different here. But it was wild how many people you would meet on a regular after Katrina that were from New Orleans. You know, our very next door neighbors, the family was from New Orleans, and their family came up and they never fucking left. Like, so many people never went back home. And I think that's a lot of what people forget, so like, when you talked about like the AI and the what's real thing, for me, it just goes back to the washing of information and how
washing information and then oh my God. So the first two things. So the first thing is, in our minds, in a person, an adult mind, we think about, especially someone anywhere between the ages of 25 and 55, we think about what we would do in that situation if it were us. But what if you were in this situation and you had small children or elderly people with you?
And many of them did.
Yes. And you can't, what you think you would do, things change when you have to, I just would have swam to such. Okay, you can't swim with this 2-year-old though.
Cute. I think when I was listening to them talk about how many people stayed back with their grandparents, I thought about when my dad was bedbound. I wouldn't leave my fucking dad if he was bedbound. I guess we buy this out or we go die this out. But I can't leave you here. So many people the choice to stay back with an ill person because they didn't want to fucking leave them by themselves. And everybody thought we're gonna make it. Because we always do. And they
Can I
did.
say
They actually
this?
did. They
Yeah,
did.
that's what I was going to
That's
say.
crazy.
Like, we grew up, even though I didn't grow up in New Orleans, I grew up in Louisiana. We took Louisiana history. You would hear all the time, New Orleans is below sea level. New Orleans is below sea level. One day, New Orleans is going to be underwater. You would hear that all the time. You're like, yeah, okay, yeah, whatever. And then there's and Katrina's not the only big hurricane that New Orleans has ever had.
Right.
So a lot of people are not evacuating because you don't think it's going to be that serious, because Louisiana can handle water.
Right.
Like, we can handle heavy rain. Like, we get it all the time. It's nothing. You go outside, it's raining, and then 10 minutes later, it can look like it wasn't raining because it's humid, it gets super hot, and it looks dry outside. This happens all the time. So yeah, people, you don't think to leave. But I will say there's some political things that I'm not sure if any of the docs, I'm sure some of them may have, but it got real gentrified. There were some areas. So it's like there's some political things there, some monetary things there that make a lot of people believe that something went on with those levees that was not supposed to go on with those levees.
That's the other part that stuck out about the documentary, as people are literally just trying to live, survive, and do you have some water? The news wanted to focus on, oh, people are looting, there's thugs out in the street. Look, why are you even talking about that when people are sitting here with newborn babies and they need water and milk? And you talking about people who, oh, there's some people looting, and they kind of retwisted and turned the story in a way that would make the average American not feel that they need to step up and help. Like,
or
no,
think it's that bad. Because if you're like, oh,
exactly,
people are walking past with,
humanitarian.
And you
So the
showing
one thing
certain
that I
parts that are
love
not as
was
flooded.
you didn't watch it, Denise, but that the general that came through, the military guy, he came in there.
Bad motherfucker. He was a bad man. If it wasn't for
He was
him,
the first one to say, "Hey,
have been
put
so
the
many
freaking guns down. Why you don't point those guns at people? This is a humanitarian effort. This ain't you not over here holding people hostage."
Yeah.
And he walked all through there, and and that's what he was like. This is how are we treating this? You can't treat this like we trying to protect property.
Yeah.
Somebody got shot on the bridge. One of the kids was telling a story about one of the kids that we interviewed when we were writing the script at school, about, I think it was her uncle, and I think he may have been special needs. And when they were on the bridge trying to get across, like that, like those are the things that were happening. Those are the things that happened. You can't swim because, hello, alligators. I don't know if y'all know.
Right.
You would swim and do what? You don't want to get in those waters. You don't want to get in Louisiana water.
You don't know what live electrical cords have fallen into the water. It's so much. It's ridiculous. So much stuff. It's like, yeah.
Yeah. And so I think what I will say is the conflicting information and stories and this and that, I think, to tie it back around to everything, it does make it hard to move, because then you like, there's a paralysis that sets in, because you're like, what's fake? What's real? Do I want to invest in this thing and invest my energy, emotions into this thing that may not be, I'm not getting the full truth. How do I know what's what? How do I know even how to act in this situation? It's really hard to take action when you don't know what is real and what's fake.
So one thing that I would say is, just as a word of advice, I'm very intentional about what I let go through my eyes and through my ears. We are in the wild, wild west when it comes to social media and what's going on. You have to be intentional about what you will allow yourself to hear, what you will allow yourself to see, and also what you and I guess the afterthought of that is even what you respond to, because what you respond to is also a sign of what you give validity to. See, some stuff, if I'm not even responding because I know they're trolling, why would I respond or get into a conversation with somebody about a trolling post? It goes back to, this is even before social media. This is me before social media. I would get mad at myself if I caught myself watching Jerry Springer for longer than 3 minutes.
Mm.
Because I'm watching Jerry Springer. I'm like, man, this stupid. And I'm like, Q, why the hell are you watching Jerry Springer? What's wrong with you?
Knowing that it's fake.
And knowing that it's fake, knowing that it's like it's not adding anything to your life.
Jerry,
I would literally because I'm comfortable talking to myself. Like, Q, what's wrong with you? Why would you be watching this for longer than 2 minutes?
What are you on? Yeah.
So you have to speak to yourself like that, because it wasn't a reflection of the show. Oh, this show's stupid, it's fake. No, it's a reflection of me if I'm gonna sit there and give it my time and attention. If I feel that my time and my attention is valuable, then why would I give my value just to trash, manipulation, propaganda? It also says you don't have high enough value in yourself that you should have when you indulge in these T apps. Well, I ain't gonna go into the T app part, but certain things that you know have propaganda and bitterness surrounded by it. Think about that stuff.
That's true. Where you spend, let's sit on that for a little while. Like, where you spend your time, and what that says about where you're at, where your mindset is at. Like, I'm on a new program this week, which is why I gotta like go to sleep early. But I started a new program with myself because it's like coaching the fourth quarter. So I like to decide how I want next year to look like towards the end of this year. So I'm already like, okay, well, I want next year like this. So what I gotta start doing now? And I'm like, okay, well, I want to make some improvements. I need to manage my time better. So that means I got to have good sleep hygiene. I need to go to sleep at a proper time so that I can take advantage of my mornings. Because what gives me more anxiety than anything is realizing that I got to get off work and I have probably like, we could say 3 to 5 major things that I need to get done.
Mm-hmm.
2 to 3 of those things could have been done before work, but I didn't want to get up because I wanted to stay up late because I wanted to feel like I had time. And now I'm not getting anything done. You know what I mean? So it's like so imperative that we like, manage our time wisely and really like assess what we want to do and ask ourselves, are the things that we're digesting, are those things actually feeding us, tearing us down? Are they helping towards our goal? What is it doing? Because there's this one thing that I heard Jalen Rose say a long time ago. He said there's like 4 types of people in your life. People who add, people who multiply, people who subtract, people who divide. There is no neutral. And I think that is the same way that we have to look at the content that we digest, the music that we listen to. And I'm working on that. I'm working on the music part because Lord knows I love some trash music sometimes.
You got stories. I got a video about that in my stories.
I love some old school, like early thousands, late 90s rap, and a lot of that was just a bunch of carrying on. But just paying attention to even like the type of interviews that we watch. Like, I'll find myself looking at the drama on threads, and I just want to see people argue, even though I'm not going to engage in any of it. And I just ask myself, why am I spending so much time doing this?
Right.
To the point where I like put myself on a 1 hour restriction. Like I can't get on social media until 7.
And then it's cool to be honest with yourself. It's the reason that they put that stuff on there, because your flesh is naturally intrigued to it.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a bad
thing. That makes me wonder, I got to program myself differently.
Exactly. And number one, yes, you have to program yourself differently. But then first thing you realize, you think about, in my life, am I being controlled by my flesh, or am I being controlled by my spirit, man, my soul?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my flesh want to see, they want to see 2 people fighting. They want to see a whole bunch of women on Instagram. Yeah, that's my flesh. But if I know it's not adding anything to me, and it's actually taking away the time of subtraction from my dreams and goals, but I still want to watch it, then it's okay if I want to watch it, but what's in control? If I give more time watching it than I do saying, no, you gotta we need to redo this resume.
Right.
We need to, that business plan, that that part. I need to do
Yeah.
more writing. I got to work on my keys, my fingers. I'm still, working on different things with music stuff, like my dreams, my goals, my art. If I allow that of my flesh to dominate my attention more than I do the things that I know I want to do internally, who's in control?
Yeah. Yeah.
And once you see who's in
Management.
control, how you gonna make in what ways am I gonna make this adjustment to make sure that my spirit soul man is actually dictating my actions versus my flesh?
Right. Which then means you also have to be intentional about the good things that you want to digest, because that'll make you more, it'll quicken you when you're doing stuff that's not that. Because then you're like, do I really want to be watching this stuff about what's going on with Young Thug right now? Do I really?
Ooh.
You know what I mean?
I just had a thought.
Go ahead.
So, what we have to be careful about is the gratification.
Oof.
We want to be gratified in all areas.
Oof.
Physically, emotionally, financially, sexually, mentally, all of that. So our being always seeks gratification.
Yeah.
But what you have to be careful about is, from a natural or fleshly gratification comes much quicker and easier than other gratifications. And a lot of times we will lean towards sitting on the couch and watching 4 or 5 football games all day, or watching porn, or watching the housewives of whatever. It's instant gratification that makes us feel a certain type of way. That other gratification that we also seek, it takes longer. For you to complete that song, it takes more work. It's longer for that gratification. For you to write that book that you said you were going to do, for you to write that business plan out, for you to spend time with your kids and cultivate that it's a longer process of gratification.
That is very true.
If we took the time to receive those real gratifications, that becomes addictive too. When you find people who find positive gratification, I finished my album. Yeah, I got that business started off the ground. It took time.
Yeah.
But when it actually started to manifest, it's a different, higher level of gratification. If we are willing to take the time for the higher levels of gratification, and we know it can be done. See, what happens is, if you keep going for the short-term fleshly stuff, you just keep feeding into that, and you never get your dreams accomplished. You never take the time for the real gratification that your spirit and your soul desires. So then, instead of you pursuing your dreams and your lifelong goals, you settle for porn, you settle for sports, you settle for those things because it's an instant gratification. You want to make sure you give yourself enough time to get the real gratification you're looking for, because once you get that, then that becomes addictive too. You're like, oh, I actually set out to do something and I accomplished it. There's some people who are obsessed with the gratification of their future, their life, their spirit, and their soul, because they've tasted what that type of gratification. It's not short term. It's not it's even like eating. Y'all know this. Oh yeah, that food sounds great. It tastes great on the surface, and it make me feel like shit for the next 3 days. Whereas if I eat the right thing, it may not give me the same immediate gratification, but I have more energy. My body feels better. I'm in fit, I'm in shape, and like all of these things, but it don't come instant.
That's true, because I got up this morning and I was like, all right, I gotta go run these 2 miles. Got everything out the day before, or the night before, got up, did it, was kind of struggling through it, but then my time was faster than it typically is when I do it at the end of the day. So then that was kind of strange. And then all day, I was just in a good mood. I was talking to everybody. Like, I had a good lunch. I went to Chipotle, got me a little bowl from brown rice, the beef barbacoa. I was vibing all day. I thought I was going to crash. At some point, I was like, I'm probably going to crash around 3. Didn't crash. Like, just felt amazing. But I'm not going to lie. If I go to Van Leeuwen's and get that Marion cheesecake, ice cream,
right,
and I get
at the moment it feels better.
It's gonna hit. It doesn't take a lot out of me. I just walk on down the street. Van Leeuwen stays open till 2:00 in this neighborhood. Walk on down the street, go get me some Van Leeuwen's, and for however long I'm eating it, let's say 5 minutes is how long it takes, 10 minutes if I'm taking my time or something like that. Boom. And like you said, I'm gonna wake up the next day, I'm gonna feel like shit. I'm gonna be draggy. I'm gonna have inflammation. My hips are gonna hurt. My knees might hurt. Like, I'm gonna be tired. Like, it's just not worth it. But that run put me right where I need to be. Took way more effort and thought, but it put me right where I need to be.
Right.
So I guess, like, with that said, I guess we're wrapping it up. But with that being said, I think the purpose that AI, deepfakes, clout, I think the ultimate consequence is it's just a distraction. It's a distraction, whether it be a distraction from the truth, a distraction from your own health, a distraction from what's important, what really matters, a distraction from your family, a distraction from your goals, a distraction from being focused. Like, whatever it is, it's a distraction. So try not to be as distracted, because it ain't long term.
I want to add something in between
not doing
there.
it.
The first thing that you said was a distraction from the truth. I want to modify. It's a distraction from your truth.
Oof.
So
come on, get into it.
Do I really know what the truth is? In most cases, I don't know what the truth is, but it's very important at this moment, space, and time to know what my truth is. And a lot of people don't know what their truth. And so to go back to what you're saying, when you're listening to all these outside sources, and not just listen to that, because there's a lot of good positive outside sources. But when you're talking about AI, these fake bots, these fake voices, all of this stuff, all of it is encompassed in manipulation. They don't give a damn about you. They just want clicks and likes. And if you're following after someone's manipulation tactic, how do you find the time to know what your truth is? All you're doing is just regurgitating bot rhetoric and information. And
that's good. Bot rhetoric.
Friction. Because the other thing is conflict sells. That's in every movie. There has to be some type of drama, because the drama is what sells it. When was the last time you watched a movie that had no no friction, no plot twist at the end? They all do that because they know that's what sells. So you have people who are selling on playing on your emotions versus you actually finding your truth.
Mind your wants, because there's somebody that wants your mind. That's from a Parliament song. Parliament Funkadelic.
Really? Which song is that? I like that.
Funkintellecty.
I wouldn't listen to them words. I gotta
they talk a lot. It's either Funkintellecty or it's Mothership Connection, one of the two. But they talk a lot about frequency. If you listen to Parliament Funkadelic, they talk a lot about frequency. They talk about about how sound can heal you and things like that. So, I mean, a lot of people don't know that. I know I can say this. When I lived in Austin, when Cedar season would hit, if I went and listened to live music, that would be like the only time I wouldn't have a headache. It was insane. Yeah. So, and y'all know about Cedar season. Really? So it's like certain frequencies.
Cedar season hit me heavy.
Cedar season. But yeah, like
Okay.
Frequencies. We got to learn about the frequencies. I need to learn more about the frequencies, but there's so much. Even that kind of small thing could make a big change. Music, live music versus digitized music. But Nikki.
I think I think I'm going to take what you said and I'm going to even go a little bit further than distraction. I think that it's division, right? So
somebody.
Distraction grabs our attention, but the goal is to keep us divided. Keep us divided from accurate information, keep us divided from the truth, keep us from ever uncovering the truth. So, I mean, obviously, we're all going to be using these technologies, some form or fashion, for the rest of our life, and they're only going to continue to create more as time goes on. Like, that's just where we are. But the danger in them, for me, is just the divisionary side. I get the convenience to it. I get the luxury to it. I get the coolness to it, right? I do, but those things create division, because it stops us from doing our own research. It stops us from looking. It stops us from having conversations with it. You just got to be careful. I hate to be like that old person who's like, know this and know that, know this and know that, but I don't want none of that shit in my house. I'm very, very conscientious about just AI and access to, and obviously never believing everything that you see right off the bat. Like, if I didn't see it with my own eyes, I'm probably not going to see it until I go investigate first, and like, I was even trying to find something recently for somebody, and just the way that the internet, and I knew that what I was looking for I would find, but the way that the internet had the search results so fucking rigged, I had to go through page after page to find what I was really looking for, because what it gave was all the bullshit. And if you don't even know,
it's crazy. The real truth is probably buried so deep down under there. It's like,
And I knew it was there. Like, I knew what I was looking for, so I knew that I would find it. It was just a matter of
Nikki,
able to type it just to pop up what I'm looking for. But the first 3 or 4 pages was all of the other shit that they wanted me to see, and I was like, "That's not what I'm here for." And you just see how
what frustrates me more than anything. Well, one of the things that frustrates me the most, when you talk about specific, I can type in a specific business or company, and before I get to that, like, I want to, I'm looking for AAA chiropractic consultants. I typed it in, literally, I typed it directly in. And I hit search. And when I search, things pop up. And I'm ready to click on it because I searched on AAA chiropractic. And it's not AAA chiropractic. It's, you have to go through 3 or 4 sponsors before you get to what I directly asked for. Like, what is it? There's time I made a mistake a couple years ago and set an appointment for an eye exam.
Oh no!
Because I went to a specific eye company. I typed in a specific eye company, hit search, and then it popped up, and I clicked on it. And I'm setting appointments, and finally, I'm like, "This is not even a company that I was looking for."
Wow!
Because it went directly to a sponsor before it went to what I actually asked for. So even when you're trying to be specific, they have an agenda. You just gotta watch out for everything. It's crazy.
Like, I hate to say that the internet is a dangerous place, because we know that if you use it properly, it's a phenomenal space. But if you don't use it properly, it is thoroughly dangerous, and is only going to become more dangerous as AI, deep fakes, simulations, all these things become the norm.
But let me tell you something else. I told this story a few times. I'm pretty sure I told this a few times on Facebook, but it's been a while since I told it. I'm tell you again. I used to work for Spectrum cable company, cable phone internet. I would go door to door. I sell internet. I met a guy. I ran across a guy. He was like, "Oh, you Spectrum? Okay, yeah." He said, "I never work with you guys." He said, I will never have your business." Oh, okay, how come? He said, "Because y'all throttle." I said, "What do you mean?" I said, "What do you mean by throttle?" He said, "Your company practices throttling." So what they do is certain companies that they are not in cahoots with or favored with, they will actually slow down their website, the way that they process things. So sometimes, sometimes You love Twitter, you love Snapchat, you love Instagram, you love Facebook. These are certain things that you don't even know. Part of the reason that you love them is because of their efficiency. So when you have other social media groups that try to start that's not connected, and then you don't even know this, but they run a little slower, they're not efficient. It's not the website.
Mm-hmm.
It's the cable company that slows it down because they're not favored. They're throttling it down for you to have a bad experience, for you not to rock with them, and then you keep going with the main guys.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Ooh.
That's how deep manipulation is. Most people don't know that. And you messing around. Oh, well, yeah, this startup social media company, they trying to start something up, but yeah, it's, you know, and see, and you don't know what it actually is, but you get it, you try to use it, you try to participate, you're like, it just don't work the same way. It kind of, you know, I don't get the same vibe or feed from it. All they have to do is slow down the speeds to give you a bad experience on it.
Mm-hmm.
And nobody's gonna sign up. It'll never pick up momentum or steam because the app itself doesn't even run as efficiently as Facebook or Twitter, some of these other ones. And it has nothing to do with the app. It's the companies that's in connection and cahoots with the app that give you that bad experience. Crazy.
That's why we need more regulation. So when Nikki sent us something earlier about what they're doing in, where is it, Denmark or something?
Denmark.
Yeah, Denmark, where they like, it seems like in Europe they're more concerned with having regulations as it pertains to AI and technology. And we need those regulations. We need them in the United States of America. But there's so many companies, major companies, that get by.
Oh, yes.
With there being no regulations. So they're not doing it because the major companies are the ones who are lobbying for whatever laws that there are or are not.
How else are they going to get our information freely? So they just make sure that it's written in all terms of services and everything that we agree to, that they can have whatever we put wherever we put it, and we can't have it back. Our own intellectual property does not fucking belong to us.
When was the last time you read those 67 pages of terms and agreements?
Right.
Before you clicked and opened that app up.
Right. And even if you did, are you going to do anything differently? Are you going to not? Are you going to not?
Even if you did, do you understand that lawyer jargon and terminology that they're using to even?
And do you have a copy of it?
Right. Right.
It's
what you
it's
signed.
all ridiculous.
Right.
All right, Denise, your time up. You're supposed to be gone 30 minutes ago.
I was supposed to be gone 30 minutes ago. I'm not gonna make y'all get off the live or anything.
No. I'm done when you're done. I'm done when you're done.
We stayed over last week. We good.
I spent all last week trying to talk sense into Nikki, and she wasn't having it. I ain't dealing with her no more.
Right. It came into this week with the same thing. It didn't work. It didn't work.
Switching up, you ain't never got to worry about me switching up.
Straight up. Nikki stands on business. It's like dictionary stands on business. Nikki's picture, Nikki's Facebook picture. But thank you guys so much for tuning in. We are definitely going to send that poll. I'm not going to forget that poll to see who's right, Nikki or Q. 20v1. But yeah, y'all, pay attention. I hate to say it, but stay woke, ask questions, do your research.
And if all right, Denise, I feel like we need to do maybe we don't need to do a part 2, but we got to come back in, because even with the kind of the Photoshop and the body augmentation,
I want to get into that. We have to get into that. We do.
Keep going. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Part 2. We'll just continue on.
Yeah, we could do a part 2. We definitely need to, because that's a whole thing in itself. It's a whole thing in itself that we really need to get into. All the fallout from it. It's a lot, y'all. Anyways, Make sure y'all tune in to Freethinkers. Share this with anybody that you think will like it. Comment, tell us the parts that you like the most. Yeah, we appreciate y'all hanging out with us, coming and doing your thing. And if you have any suggestions, please let us know because we love a good suggestion. We've been doing this for what, about to be 8 years. And we went through a lot of subjects. I don't think we repeated a subject once. So like
And a few
We're
times
open for
we have
suggestions.
a whole conversation too.
yeah, so we've been doing this for a lot of Tuesdays. So anyways, thank you. Comment, like, subscribe, share. Peace, y'all.
Good night.
Good night.